RPS. Live from Primavera Sound 2022. Proudly presented by Cupra.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Radio Primavera Sound. My name's Johan Wald. On the controls, we have Rob Roman. We are broadcasting live from the Parkdale Forum Saturday night. I'm feeling it. They're here with us, Mark Bowen and Joe Talbot. Give it up for Idols. The crowd loses it. They lose it. They're already in anticipation. How does it feel to be back at Primavera Sound, guys?
I feel like a caged animal. Thank you.
I feel like NSYNC on, is it TMZ? What's that? Like, you know that? 90s?
Oh, the one in Times Square.
Yeah.
That's
TRL. No, those old like 90s or 2000s MTV shows. Yeah. I mean, do you have any memories from the last time you played here? Because it's been a while with everything that's happened in between.
Yeah, but not a lot in between, you know? We were playing in the corner at 2 a.m. and it was one of the best experiences we've ever had as a band. It was phenomenal. We've been coming to this festival for over a decade. It's one of the best festivals on the planet. It's my favourite. It's a dream to be back. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we had a chat with Steve Albini yesterday, and he was mentioning with a legendary rock producer and rock recording engineer.
Shout out to Albini
from Shellac. And he was saying that he doesn't play festivals, but he does play Primavera and he explained why. What does playing Primavera mean to you? Why is it important for Idols to be a part of this family, this lineup?
Well, I mean, it's always a discerning lineup. I mean, it's eclectic in the best way. They book that now, especially like we like I said, we've been coming there a long time before we were a band. But it's a discerning choice, as in now we know the booker as well. It's always about what they feel is the best music right now, and not about necessarily selling tickets, but giving something to audiences that want new ideas and what is considered to be the best at the time. And I think it's delivered every year. I think Primavera's always the best lineup.
And there's a thing about, and it is true that we speak to the people, the members of booking who know a lot about music. They've been doing this for 20 years. And the first time they saw your show, a lot of the people in the office who saw your show here at Primavera, they said, this is a next level. This is a next milestone in guitar music and stuff. And I asked this when I interviewed Dev a while back on the back of Ultra Mono, and he wasn't able to answer the technicalities of it, because when I saw you guys live at the Weekender, I felt that there was this rummaging, this kind of engine sound, like a jet plane taking off all the time underneath. Could you explain, Mark, what the technicality is of that? Is it like pedal effects? Is there something like a drum, drum, drum just going on constantly?
Well, I think what it is that, like, as a guitar band, we've always noticed that there's limitations that are placed within having an instrument. Like, you know, the best, most raw, violent, aggressive music being made now is not really being made on guitars. But there's something about the visceral nature of playing a guitar and seeing, you know, people shake on stage with their instrument and fight with their instrument that is a big attraction for us. But we're always trying to not make the guitar sound like a guitar. So we use lots of different effects. We play guitar badly on purpose, kind of. And that creates a kind of sound. And it's about unifying together as one whenever you need to be unified as one to create that sound, but also it's all about diverging in different directions and taking up different spaces within what a guitar means at that point to create the biggest sound possible.
Dev also mentioned that you both guitarists spend a lot of time looking at YouTube tutorials, and like you're really nerdy with pedals and how obsessive are you?
Completely obsessed. Like, yeah, it's what I spend maybe 90% of my time doing, is thinking about what the next sound my guitar is going to be making and how can I make it and how can I cultivate it using different techniques and stuff like that. Like, I'm like with Crawler, I got really into guitar synthesis and using modular kind of ideas to expand the guitar sound and widen it out and all sorts of stuff like that. It's boring for anyone else. The interesting bit is the sound. That's good.
Yeah,
that's all I care about really at the end of the day.
And it's lovely because you're in the audience and you've got this little vibration going on in your tummy. It's like, and it's constant. It's like, apart from all the visual energy and the drums and the guitars, it's like this, which is almost like the Tibetan chants when they do the,
singing,
the equivalent, but made with pedals. But I understand that the aim with your last album, Crawler, you wanted to break ties with the old idols. What did you mean by that, Joe? What do you understand is the new idols that you want to work towards?
I guess the new idols is still the old idols. It's just, I think if you are a band that has the gift of a loyal audience, it's important that you show your gratitude by working hard and challenging yourself and moving forward. If you are bored, you're boring. If you're interested, you're interesting. And I think for us, it's about staying alive and making new. And you can't stand still as an artist. You got to constantly look forward. So for us, Ultra Mono was a really good opportunity to build a grotesque version of what everyone, including us, had built with idols, to kill it, start again with Crawler. But there's, you know, you look at Crawler and there's elements of all of our albums in there. It's not like we've turned our back on Joy as an act of resistance or Brutalism or Ultra Mono. Like, they're in our DNA. It's just about making sure that we don't do the same thing twice, because we don't want to do the same thing twice. It's not to do with anyone else but ourselves. And, you know, we're in love with this and we're very, very, very lucky. There's not many people that get to do what we do. And it's important that we make sure that we show that gratitude by challenging ourselves every day, waking up, making sure we are the best we can be.
Well, of all the things that can be said about Idol's music, it's not exactly the most commercial or radio friendly, yet you scored a #1 album with Ultra Mono. Do you have any kind of explanation for that, since you were in the middle of the maelstrom?
These people here, the supportive people, our fans, people that buy our t-shirts, tattoo their arms with our album titles. From the start of Idols, there's been a like-minded community created within the band and then with our audience that has grown and grown. And the whole point of that community is that it engenders receptiveness and to allow people to come into it. It's open, it's open-minded, it allows anyone to be themselves, and that is captivating and makes you want to be part of that gang. And then a gang forms and everyone wants to be part of the gang, don't they? So that's how it grows and grows. But whether or not it's about the music necessarily, I hope so, but yeah.
The other reason is that Ed Sheeran hadn't released an album that week.
When we brought up that name when we were interviewing Black Midi yesterday, they were like, "Don't ever mention that name when we're at the table." They felt like they had this kind of superstition. No beef with poor Mr. Ed Sheeran. It's just.
Have you starting a Black Midi Ed Sheeran beef?
No, exactly. I didn't start it. I just sort of put it out there, and they were very they didn't want to be mentioned in the same breath.
I think a lot of parallels can be drawn between Ed Sheeran and Black Midi if you think about it.
You can draw parallels between everything, mate. Even Julio Iglesias. I can say I can always bring it in. You know, my colleagues are always like ranting. It's like, why is he always talking about Julio Iglesias? Julio Iglesias is the invented everything. Sorry, but going back to Crawler, and you were saying, Joe, of not repeating, of always creating new things. The Beachland Ballroom is what finally.
Oh snap! That's our old guitarist from the.
Hey!
Oh my God!
There's our bass player, Dev.
Hey!
Look, Idols fans, have your photo opportunity moments with Dev.
Everyone go bother Dev.
But it's not Dev. It's a lookalike. Is it Dev?
No, it's Dev. Yeah.
It is Dev. He looks different from when I.
Yeah, he's lost about 20 kilos.
Yeah, well, because he's been in pandemic. I know he was busy doing a fitness program and doing YouTube videos and stuff.
I think he just got back into drugs.
The kind of pharmaceutical over-the-counter drugs.
Yeah,
Joe,
diet pills.
But speaking of taking care of oneself and being in shape and stuff, the touring lifestyle, we know from interviewing thousands of bands all throughout our careers that touring can take a toll on your body and on your mind. And you have sung about mental health issues. Yeah. What steps do you take? What do you ensure to do as an organization to make sure you take care of each other?
I think touring, our show is like physically draining. You know, I mean, training-wise, I box, I cycle, and I try and look after myself, and so do all the other guys in different ways. But mental health is a key to touring, because it's a very unnatural thing. There's no kind of consistency to it, but a strict consistency at the same time. And like, you know, you just got to look after each other. And like, it's all about what we talk about in our music. If you open yourself up and you give yourself to the people around you, if you are vulnerable, which is basically a sense of openness, you don't have to lay yourself bare every day. You just have to try and be open to the world, and what you get back is everything. It's vulnerability from the people around you. And I think earning and sustaining an honest circle means that there's longevity in that relationship, because you trust each other and you're safe to express yourself, which means you don't turn to other things in order to survive that. Also, again, as Bowen said, it's the people, these guys that come to our shows and look after us. They've been showing us support and showing their vulnerability and sharing their experiences online and everything. It's like, it's a community that's built itself around us that makes us feel like we're part of something much bigger than ourselves, and it keeps us safe.
Well, you know, you've addressed issues about substance abuse in your music, and I imagine that the thing that artists have of any kind of discipline is you get to exercise a lot of the demons through art, through work and stuff, and it must feel really good as opposed to people who just go to a job and they don't have time to pursue a creative outlet, and you know, you let that grind you down, and over the years you become grey and you lose your, whereas you guys get to play every night to incredibly beautifully passionate people, and stuff that was cathartic, you managed to put it on paper and turn it into a song. Is that enough to keep the demons at bay, or does it take a little bit more?
Yeah, no, it's definitely like, it's not enough, no. You, like, as a sober person, Dev, who has now been sober and not smoking for, I don't know, he's gone now. But he's shown me that it can be done, but it's not because he's in a band, it's because he's dedicated his time and his patience and built new connections with the people around him. And you got to work hard. As an addict, I can tell you that if you don't do it yourself, no one else can do it for you. It's like it's hard. You got to want it. You're gonna want sobriety, because you know, our job is everywhere. You can get whatever you want easily, but definitely the support of our people and our crowd and the support of each other definitely helps. And I would suggest that creative thinking is definitely the spark that allows you to feel that you're part of the universe. It's a bridge. Music, art, writing, reading, whatever it is. It allows you that connection to the world. It makes you feel part of something. And that connection is a strength. It makes you feel more grounded than if you're lost and isolated and alone. And it's a good foundation to work hard on yourself every day, but you need to want it first. Yeah.
It's a powerful thing, and as you said, I mean, being in a rock and roll band or in a touring lifestyle, there are mines everywhere, and you can tread on them, or they can be thrown at you. It can't be easy. But anyway, last night Kenny Beats played here at the Boiler Room in Cupra, and he actually sunk the floor. He didn't, but his set was so lively that someone sunk the floor, and I think they've had to repair the stage. Why did you choose a producer known for working more in hip hop to produce Ultramono and repeat on Crawler?
I think it was, well, one, because that is the kind of music that inspires us a lot, and especially Ultramono, that was the music that was driving our writing behind it. And much in the same way I was saying earlier about, you know, electronics and production is where you get all the hardest stuff these days. But then as soon as we met him, it became more about his enthusiasm for the music, his enthusiasm for the purpose that you're going with any kind of album, and also his ability to to seek out the way and succeeding in that venture, and his lack of ego around that. You know, he'll be like, I'm not the best guy at this, who is? And he approaches that person and gets them to do it. And he engenders that within us as well. He makes you feel more confident in experimentation, in, you know, sticking with what your intentions were from the outset, and seeing that through in the best possible way to come out with something that you feel successful because you've managed to hit the nail on the head with regards to what you were intending. So from that end, I mean, he's one of the best co-producers in the world.
He's also a genius. Like,
yeah,
he's one of the best producers in the world.
And you co-produced this album. Well, you produced most of most of the Idols albums. You've got your hands on the tech,
I'm involved. Yeah, but the Crawler was the first time that I kind of stepped up to co-producer level with Kenny. And I don't think I could have done it without Kenny. And I think that he was very kind and very respectful to the approach that I wanted to take, because I was so deep in it. But he also helped me gain in confidence, and also helped stand in the way and push me off to the side when something else needed to be done. Yeah. So yeah, he's great.
Well, you know, a question that I didn't finish asking before was, you know, about talking about keeping changing things and trying different things. The Beachland Ballroom off your last album has instantly become a fan favorite, a song that everyone loves, especially because it's kind of a moment in the show, if you do play it tonight, where lovers can have a little waltz and dance together. Was that something deliberate, that you thought, oh, we need to have a song that's a little bit more tender, shall we say, than raging and furying like a tornado?
I wasn't thinking about the audience when I wrote Beachland Ballroom. I just love soul music. I grew up on that stuff, and I've tried to write a soul song a few times, and Bones kicked me out the door. But I got it right with that one because he wasn't there, so I wrote it whilst he wasn't in the room, and and you finished it off. It was great, so it was good. But yeah, you know, like Crawler's an episode. I think it's the first chapter in a new book where we're working on dynamic and working on depth, and we've always thought about the shows we have. It's like part of the journey, you know, like every song we write, we think about its impact live and all that stuff. But with that in mind, we also want to write the best song possible, and that's just whatever it is on the day. But now, you know, Crawler's, you know, it's definitely, it's us at our most, I guess our most fluent. You know, like it's us speaking our language the most. We are not just a pummeling deaf car, but we can be. And like, you know, I think, you know, we want to create that, as you would say, Bowen, ebb and flow in our set. But it's all about a journey, you know. We respect the live show, and we want it to be as memorable as possible.
Yeah.
And the moment is only created if you create those binaries of dark and light and light and heavy, and you push people to their depths, both up and down. And that's when you remember the highs, is when you create the best lows. And I think we're getting there, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Tonight you're playing at more or less at the same time as Gorillaz, and a lot of us kind of had hoped, if that wasn't the case, that there might have been a chance where you would have been able to have joined the rest of the Gorillaz on stage to perform the song that you put up for the last album. Would that have been a possibility? Were you talking with Damon?
No, there's not enough room for me and Damon on any stage. I'm joking. No, he wouldn't invite us up. No, he's got enough collaborators. But we would come up. Like, I love Damon Albarn. I love Gorillaz. I love Blur. I grew up on that, you know. I was, we met him recently. It's cool. He's good. Yeah. And like, yeah, we would, but we got our own show to try and to try and do right tonight.
Well, there's lots of friends here tonight because Warren Ellis is here because he's performing tonight with Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Yeah.
Give it up. Do you have time to sort of meet up when, like, do you text each other like, hey, let's grab a free damn?
Slow Tie just called me. So I'm going to go, but apparently he's on stage soon, so I've got to go and see him. Who else? Oh, we were with Jenny Beth earlier. Yeah, you know, it's nice to meet people along the way. And then when festival season is basically our time to meet up with people that we've worked with or hung out with.
Yeah.
I text Warren.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like, oh, it'd be nice to meet up. And I gone, all right. I didn't know what I was like, all right. All right.
Yeah, when you're it's you know, when you're on the receiving end of someone texting you and you don't want to be rude, but you know it's like, hang on a minute, there's a lot of things going on. I can't commit to, you know.
There's a game of cat and mice that's going on between me and Warren at the minute. I'm trying to, like, you know, play it cool.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't want to seem too keen.
Too eager.
I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. That's something that always, whenever I ask artists about playing Primavera, it's like, you know, it's lovely to be asked. Like it's never in a band. Do you feel that it's never right for you to sort of ask a festival, like, can I play? Or get your managers to ask? Like, is that a thing where it's something I just keep hearing, like bands like, well, if I get invited.
We asked to play Primavera a lot.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, I remember sat on Barcelona beach with another friend of mine who's in a band, and they all agreed on the beach that if they weren't playing Primavera in 2 years, they'd split up. And they haven't, and they're still a band. So I'm going to remind them.
Liars.
Liars?
No, not the band.
Oh,
they just lied. Yeah. No, I won't name.
They couldn't follow through with their commitment. Damn it.
They should play Primavera. They are an amazing band, but they haven't played yet.
What's the name of the band? Let's put it out there. Let's, you know. Do you believe in that, in the projecting into the universe, and if you project it more long enough, it might happen?
Yeah, well, I hope so. I think, yes. I think people... Actually, yeah, we're on a platform. We should spread the word of amazing bands. Spectres are the band I'm talking about, and they are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and they should play here. They go down a storm, especially in Spain.
Spectres?
Yeah, Spectres, yeah. They played with us once. They're friends of ours back home, and yeah, they're fantastic. But yeah, we ask all the time. You know, like, we're like, I've been coming here for a long time, so I wanted to play way before we played. And yeah, you got to ask, you got to be hungry for that stuff, you know? Yeah. Like, we still got stuff we want to do. We still got, like, bucket list festival things we want to do. Couple of headliners here and there that we want to do. You know, but really here, if I'm realistic, I don't fancy headlining this one. I always, like, you know, if Shellac are happy playing at midday on a roof somewhere like 4 years ago, I'm happy playing anywhere. This is one of those festivals where it's about the people and the list of bands that are playing. You don't need to be at the top.
What is your relationship with the concept of ambition? Because you're a band, and I think you have to have a little bit of ambition if you want to make it in this industry. But some people kind of hate that word. And remember, Tom York had that lyric, "Ambition makes you look pretty ugly." I don't know, like, kind of, even though he is ambitious. No, yeah. What's?
I think that, like, there's an element of it where ambition is, like, it's uncool. Like, it's way cooler to be like, whatever. But, like, well, we're incredibly ambitious. I would say both of us have ambitions. You know, it's not to be, you know, U2 or Coldplay or AC/DC, but you know, we have our own ambitions for our albums. We have our own ambitions to what it means to tour as a band and how we go about that and getting out to as many people as possible. So yeah, we've got drive, and I guess ambition comes with drive, or helps drive, for sure.
I mean, the other thing is, you know, if you haven't got ambition, what are you doing? For us to not be ambitious is an insult. It's an insult to these guys, and it's an insult to all the people that don't get to do this. It's an insult to Spectres, who don't get to play this festival. We've been working for 13 years as a band, hard. Like, we had 70-hour-a-week jobs. We were working hard in our other jobs, and then we'd come out and practice 4 times a week for 20 hours a week, every week. Now, to turn around to other bands who work just as hard as us and not have ambition is an insult to the people that aren't as lucky as us and to the people that pay for us to be here. So we're always going to be ambitious. I get up in the morning, I'm grateful. My gratitude comes out in how hard I work every day. And that's not going to stop, ever. Ambition is is no joke. You have to be grateful, otherwise you're entitled. And people that are entitled need to get in the sea.
Thank you so much. Joe Talbot, Bowen from Idols. They play tonight. I don't know what stage. I know it's not one of those massive, horrible stages. It's one of the nice small ones where we can create a proper mosh pit and sweat together and hug each other, because we can now do that. Well, we can still get COVID, like the Strokes, but don't worry. It's worth it. It's worth it. We're back here together again. Let's just get it with responsibility. I'm getting into one of my gardens. Thank you so much, Idols.
We love you. Thank you. Gracias. Gracias.
RPS. Live from Primavera Sound 2022. Proudly presented by Cupra.